from here. One, you have to know the URL you're supposed to use. So I'll take you through a live demonstration of the system. So anybody who has got a computer around can actually just follow. So there's this thing called EID stroke VL system. Once you click on that first link, EID stroke VL system, you click on it. Once you clicked on it, you see this very first one here, EID stroke VL system or https nascope.org. Just click on that. Once you have clicked on this, you'll actually see this page coming up. EID dashboard, the VL dashboard, CD4 stroke RTK, ART commodity dashboard, and then there's also a lot of material here. Key messages on viral load results interpretation, EID VL dashboard user guide, query results via SMS. This used to be there, but nowadays it's like it's not working. The 227, then remote login job aid, which is now very key for the guys that are doing remote logging. You can actually get this job aid to support you. Then county and sub-county partner login guide, and then Kenya Data Protection Act. Of course, nowadays we have to protect the data. Then Kenya EID DNA PCR requisition form. For the facilities that, for the staffs are here who are collecting EID, this is the form to use. You just come here and click on this and you get that form. And then, of course, the viral load request form. They are saying it's the latest, but I think there are a few edits that needs to be made for this form. So this is just the material that you need to get. Then after that, you can now come here and just click on EID dashboard or VL dashboard or CD4 or whatever. But today we just want to learn about viral load. So I'll go ahead and click on the VL dashboard. And this is what will appear. So once you click the VL dashboard, there's a lot of information that comes along. You see, this is what is there in the national dashboard. This is a national dashboard that everybody can access. So up there, you can see what we call the summary. The summary has got the summary of results, the current suppression, the regimen analysis, and reg analysis. Then you can even come here to the next one called county sub-county facility partner. So if you want to look at what is happening in your county, just click here, or sub-county, or partner, or even facilities. Then here, it will actually tell you the lab performance, the points of care, the backlog that are within that lab. There were times that we were doing COVID, so some COVID issues are still there. Then those resources we saw at that time are also still hosted here. You can actually click here and see resources. And then you can also come and click EID view. But mind you, we are in the viral load view. We clicked on the VL view. So we are in the viral load view. Mind you, we clicked on the VL dashboard. You to the viral load view. So how do we manipulate this? So let's say we are in Makueni and you want to know how Makueni is doing with the viral load results. You just come here and click on the county. Then you come and click on that county. Once you've clicked on that county, a lot comes in. When we were just in the overall view, you are seeing what was done in January. This is just test done in January, test done in February 2025, test done in March, test done in April, test done in May. This is national view. June, July, August, September, October, November. We are actually in November. These are tests done with results. So from here, in your view, you can actually see May 2025 nationally was the month with a lot of viral loads done. And of course, they have even calculated the separations and even the invalids and the LLDs and LDLs. Of course, you know LDL and LLVs. LLVs, low level viremia. LDL is lower detectable limit. That is that can not be detected. Invalids are samples that you know they ran, but they were not able to get results. So in total, they did 154,164. 154,169, of course. So that just tells you how the national is doing. Of course, you remember, during this period here is when we got the PPTs in the month of March. And then April took our samples, May. By this time here, results zilikuwa zinakuja, and then unapata PPTs zilienda zikapotea. Then we got PPTs in the month of September towards the end. And that's why you are seeing it's creeping up again. So the month of October, you are seeing the numbers are going up, but you were expecting the numbers for November to even go higher. But to let you know, we were not having the reagent testing commodities at the national testing lab. That's why you are seeing the numbers are almost at 91,000. If we had the commodities at the testing lab, we would even be doubling data for May. But currently, at least they have started testing, and I know in the month of December, the numbers will go a bit higher. And that reflects the county as well. So moving on, before we go to the county itself, you can actually look here, VL uptake, and you can see national turnaround time. So the national turnaround time just calculate how long it takes samples to move from point A to point B. Like here it's saying key, collection to receipt. I hope you are seeing that arrow of mine. Collection to receipt. How long does it take? Collection to receipt. Yani, let's say we are in Makindu Sub-County Hospital. How long does it take from the time the sample is collected? Ifike EDAP lab, that is collection to receipt. So from here, averagely, nationally, it takes around 4 days, as you can see from there. Then, the next step is once they have received to processing, how long it takes them from receiving to processing. This one here, R to P. It takes them, ubaya hii haijawekwa hapa, but I'll get a more clearer one to let you know. Then the next one, let me see if it is this one. Probably it is between these four. It's actually from 5 days to 12 days. Then from processing to dispatch, how long does it take them from processing to dispatch? I think it's this one here, the green one. So collection to receipt is this orange, takes them around 5 days nationally. So if you are in your county, how long does it take for you as a county to get your samples from collection to receipt? Then receipt to processing, it's this yellow here, the 5th day to the 12th day. So it took them quite a while because in a commodity hazikuwa, so that's why they were taking longer. But if commodities are there, you'll realize that it takes even 3 days and they have processed the samples. Then processing to dispatch is the green, around 1 day, because here as a testing lab, most of them are accredited. There's the bit of, review of the results before results are dispatched. Usually takes a day's work. So that's why it takes a day and then you get your results. So nationally, our TAT is around 13 days, give and take. Now, once you have reached there, this is for the clinical team. Just look at the number of viral loads ever done this year. Like here, viral load with more than 1,000 copies Ningapi, viral load test with less than 400 copies, viral load between 400 and 999. They have been broken down into small bits. How many pregnant women were analyzed here, breastfeeding mothers, rejected samples, quite a number, 2,227, average is at sending. So nationally, we have around 2,270 sites that have ever sent viral load. When you go on this other column, you can actually see the suppression. I know Makueni is a suppression of between 96 and 97%. So we go there and all that. So I don't think that is really key, but percentage rejection rate for this is for the lab. Our lab, we need to have a rejection of less than 1%. So 0.2 nationally is acceptable. So if you see in your county, a lot of rejections are being done, then you as the managers need to find out the reasons why the rejections are being done. So this is just an overview of how this thing can actually help you to understand how the national is working. Now, let me go now to the county. Let me now go to the county. As I stated, you come here, you click on county. When you click on county, you see a lot happens. It brings out this face here. It tells you Nairobi, ndio county's outcome. Ndio wamefanyiwa a lot of tests, you see, because Nairobi wakona a lot of clients and there are quite a number of facilities. So we can go under Homa Bay, of course, following it because of the prevalence in Homa Bay, of course, Siaya, of course, Kisumu, of course, Migori, in that order. And then you can actually see Mombasa. It actually tells you the trend of where the numbers are. We go, bado hakuna hata Kitui ndio hii connects. Kitui ndio hii connects and then Makueni and of course Machakos. They are like twin triplets or twin brothers. Kitui, Makueni, Machakos. So these are their numbers here, telling you that Kitui, this year I've done 17,650 tests. Suppression 96.2. You can actually see that. Target is 95%. You go to Makueni, they have done 17,644 and a suppression of 96.6. You are right, 96.6. So they are doing very, very well. Then, of course, Machakos, your closest neighbor, 16,462 with a suppression of 96.9. So we are doing well with suppression and all that. But that is just giving you an overview of the whole region as we go along. The numbers are not there. Tana River, Garissa, Samburu, and all. So that's all. Then, once you have reached the county, of course, when you click on the county here, as I clicked here for county, this select county. Now you come here and select. You just want to select Makueni. You come here and do Makueni. Where's Makueni? Or you can even write it up there. Now click Makueni. So you see, when you click Makueni, a lot of this comes up. You see now, this is now Makueni Outlook. Unaona the Makueni outcomes inakuonyesha number of samples that sent. 4,275 is the biggest sub-county that is sending more samples, followed by Kibwezi West, followed by Kibwezi East, of course Mboni, Kaiti, and Kilomi. Kilomi, we have only maybe 3 or 4 ART sites. That's why. Makueni, I think we have almost 20 ART sites. So that tells you a lot about your volumes. But there's something that I had not told you. You also have to select the period you are looking at. Of course, we have selected this and we are looking at 2025 for Makueni. So we have clicked just 2025. So when you have clicked 2025, that is the numbers. So once you have reached there, you come to this bit here. There's this bit here, ambayo inaonyesha the entries per sub-county. You see, like facility sending samples. Unaona Makueni 18, Kibwezi West 8, Kibwezi East 9, Mboni 9, Kaiti 8. Of course, Kilomi, as we said, there are 3 sites and number of samples that they have ever sent. Hapa inakuonyesha rejection rates. So, which sub-county iko na more rejections? Like here, Kibwezi West ziko na 0.9. That is actually the highest, followed by Kaiti 0.6. The rest 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, 0.5. We don't want this to creep to more than 1%. So Kibwezi West, if the number is creeping up, we need to find out why and look at the facility that is being supported to see how we can support them so that we don't have a higher rejection than the national numbers. So this just tells you the number of volumes, all tests done, plus returns done at the lab. You see, these are the numbers that they've ever done. So when you move across, it will just show you a lot of data that you as a facility can even now come in and analyze. Now that is at sub-county level. When you come down here again, you are looking now at a facility level data. Of course, this one does not have the name of the clients, but it gives you a congregate of the facility level data. As you can see here, Makindu District Hospital, put as Makindu District, some wengine bado wanaziita district or something like that. Of course, it's a sub-county hospital. You see, the sub-county is in Kibwezi West. A number of samples that they have ever sent, received sample at the lab in 1684, alafu unaona the rejections. Unaona Makueni District Hospital, unaona the rejections, the number of samples they've ever sent. Of course, they start with the biggest volumes, wakienda chini hivyo. So Makindu, Makueni, Emali, Kibwezi sub-counties, Sultan, Ngwata, Kilungu, all the way to the list of the facilities. The most important thing here, you see this one here, entries. This one can take in 10, but you can increase it to the biggest numbers, 100 or 50 or 25. So let's just do 100. And then, once we have done 100, unaona ime open up. It has opened up now. You can actually see a lot of facilities that have ever sent samples to the count to the testing lab. All of them are here. All of them are here. Of course, even if you send sample once, itakuwa registered up for that given year. As you can see, there's a facility here called Kambu Dispensary. They have only sent one sample, number 80. I hope you can be able to see. Number 80. They have only sent one sample. Of course, imeandikwa. There are these facilities, I don't know, Amani Afia Clinic, Amani Medical Clinic, Catholic Dispensary, Dua. They have been registered here, but they have never sent any sample. So this will tell you how many facilities are within your region and the ones that are very, very active. And that now will actually even inform you about the rejections. Let's talk about the rejections kidogo. A Mali Model Health Center, you see the rejections is actually creeping to 1.4, and it was in Kibwezi West. So you see 1.4. So anybody who is doing a TA can go to that facility and, you know, according to the national figures, your numbers are this high. What is the challenge? Can you help us understand? So the county, the team that is supporting the facility can actually go in and help them, because now if you have 1.4 rejection, that is a bit higher. Moving on, let me return it back to 10. Of course, now you know. You just click on 10, alafu inarudi back to 10. Unaona imeandika to 10. You don't have to do anything. Ukiweka 25, ina-adjust to 25. The same way, ukiweka the sub-counties, of course, hata uweke 25, bado ni 6. If they are like Nairobi, no, now they have over 17 sub-counties. So wakiweka 25, utapata the whole 17 inakuja hapo. Let's move on. Or more interesting things. I don't want to go to the separations. We talked about that. Now, this is by partner. You would want to know how many partners are in your county that is supporting viral activities. So let's just move it to 10 and see. Of course, it cannot be more than these numbers. Of course, we have CM, we have AHF that is supporting that region of Makindo Wing. Then we have Chak, Stawisha, and then no partner. This is just the county facilities. So a lot of facility testing volumes. But of course, you might be wondering, why are we not having the COAGs here? COAGs are not here because this data has not been updated now to put in COAG. COAG data still comes under the CM Pactimara because they have taken quite a number of our facilities. So I think that's something that they need to now update so that at least the COAG facilities can now also be grouped together to show the work that they are doing. So the national needs to take this up so that when you go to a given county, you see how many facilities are being supported by the COAGs and how well are they doing. But for now, I think it's overdue that they need to do that. Then the other key thing that is of importance now for Makueni, see graph there. Let me not go to the graph. Let me come now to this one first. This is now where we are looking at each and every sub-county. How long it takes before your sample move, the turnaround time. How long it takes before your sample move from point A to point B. Like now, we have Kilome, Kibwezi East, Kaiti, Makueni, Mbooni, and Kibwezi West. From collection to receipt, Kilome ndio wanachelewa sana na their samples for the given period that we are looking at for the last 1 year or maybe the last 11 months, 15 months. Kibwezi East, around 12 days from the time the samples are collected, the time zinafika, the testing lab. Kaiti, around 10 days, Makueni, around 10 days, Mbooni, around 8 days, and Kibwezi West, around 8 days. At the testing lab, the time it takes from receipt to processing, umepata that sample, how long does it take? It took them around 5 days, but Kibwezi West, it took them around 3 days. It took them around 2 days for them to review and dispatch the results from processing to dispatch. And then now, this is the correlation of 15 plus 5, which is 20, plus 2, which 3, it's supposed to be 22 days. So the TAT for kilometers is around 22 days. You come to Kibwezi East, of course, 12 days from collection to receipt. Kiongeza receipt processing, that is another 5 days, that is 17, 18, 19. So this is supposed to be 19 days. So there's an addition of 1 day. I don't know why. But when you go to Kaiti, around 18 days. You go to Makueni, around 17, 15, 13. That is the whole year. So the other thing that now will help you understand is this. You come here. This is a representation of this data here. Hii graph unaona iko hapa. It's automatically generated. It's a representation of this data here. So you can see still in Kilome, you can see pale imeandikwa collection to dispatch. Imeandikwa 23.1. Yani from the date the sample is collected to the time results include back to the facility, that is collection to dispatch, is 22.8 days. But collection to receipt is 15.5. Meaning, from the day they collected the sample to the day the samples were received at the testing lab, it took them around that long. Then here, orange ambayo onekani, I think it's receipt to processing around 4.8 days. It was around 5 days on chini, and then processing to dispatch. It took them 2.5 days. That's why they were rounding it off to 23. Post 22.5, so that's why they were rounding it off to that. So this will tell you that when you go to facilities, we tell the sub-county facilities, your sub-county is not doing very well. They are taking long with the samples in their facilities. Once a sample has been collected, why does it take 2 weeks before the sample reaches the testing lab? So we really need the sample collected hata kama ni once a week. We are supposed to be seeing a reflection of 7 days, not more than 7 days. So that's how we are able to know that this facility is taking longer, and this facility is taking. You see Kaiti around 17 days from collection to results received, that is 17.5. You see here Makueni around 17 days rounded off. You see Mbooni around 15 days rounded off. You see here which sub-county, Kibwezi West. Now, let's now come now to this bit here. I need something like 10 minutes to finish this up because I have another meeting. We want now to look at between September and to date, how far are we doing? Because we have preached this gospel for quite some time. We want to see from September. I didn't tell you about how you can filter here. You come to this, you want to look at the period. Mind you, the other time tuliandika to 2025, okay? But here, we can come and click on this. And then unasema, you want the data from September 2025, unaandika done. From that period to date, we are in November. So November 2025. So una click on November 2025. Then you come here and click filter. And you see a lot has changed. As you can see from this, Makueni from then to date, we collect 1,146 with results. Of course, these are the ones that have been hosted and with results, because I know there are quite a number of pending results that have not been released. Mbooni, the second biggest with 910, they have even done much better than the Kibwezis. Of course, Kibwezi East and Kibwezi West, of course, Kaiti and Kilome inakuwa huko chini. Now, we want to go to the TAT, ile tulikuwa tunaangalia. Let's just go to the TAT for the facilities. As you can see here, a lot has changed. Of course, Kilome still, like in this period, they have even taken longer now. They have taken around 20 days, Makueni around 12 days, Kibwezi around 9 days, Kaiti around 8 days, Mbooni around 8 days, around Kibwezi West around 8 days before the samples reach the testing lab. So for the team that is in Kilome, we really need to find out why is that these samples were collected and they took so long. So with this, I'll go into the system and look at the specific facility that is affected and look at why is it that they are taking longer with their samples in the facility, because we days, because we are taking them only once a week from our facilities to the testing lab. So that's why you see around 8 days. That's acceptable. If you are doing like twice a week, it would be around 4 days before the samples reach the testing lab. Of course, you see from receipt processing, it has improved. Initially, it was 5 days, but now between 2 to 4 days. Like Kibwezi West, the samples were processed within 2 days. Processing to dispatch, Kibwezi West, you see, they took longer with most of them. This is an average. But for these facilities, they took around 2 days. Then collection to dispatch. So this is the overall TAT. 28 days for Kilome, not acceptable. It's the closest to the testing lab. Makueni around 17 days, around 15 days, around 15, around 13, around 12. And that is reflected here. It's much easier to go through this, or maybe if you are okay, you can always come and look at this. So it tells you that we have a lot of work to do with Kilome. Probably Makueni, these other guys are not doing that badly because of the shipment of samples of once a week. Then, of course, as you can see, it's still displaying the partners that are actually collecting the samples. Now, once you have done all this, the other key thing that is very important for you as a county is you can come and export this data in form of CSV or export in form of Excel. You just come, let's say like a sub-county, you could just click on this one here. Once you've clicked on that, it will download in form of a CSV. I don't know why it's taking long. It will download. Yeah, there it is, download. So you can see. So this one, you can come and click on it, and then you start processing that data. You can actually now look at that data in an Excel format. As you can see now, I don't know if you're able to see my screen still. Yeah, you can see my screen. So you can actually look at this data in an Excel format, but it is a raw data, collated data. It's a raw data that is collated. So does not make look at the facility level data. I told you, you just come here and export this. You just click on export for the facility. You click on that in a download. Usually downloads very fast. And then you come and now you can come and manipulate that data. Come and manipulate that data. You see there's a lot of data here, but of course most of the facilities in 0000. Only like how many facilities wamekuwa kituma the samples? How many? Like we only have 69 facilities that have been active between the period of September to date. So around 69 facilities ndio wamekuwa kituma the samples actively to the testing lab. Oh, yeah, because this one, wacha ni ongeze hii. Make it ionekane vizuri. Yeah. So you can see here all tests plus returns, all tests that have been drawn. So this one here tells you. Then some received samples at the lab. So this one just tells you the samples that you have received. This one tells you what has been rejected. Of course, for the period here, everybody is doing very well. No rejection for this period except for this facility here. This facility is Kitundu. Kitundu has got a very high rejection. Let me manipulate that. Kitundu has got very high rejection. Kitundu dispensary in Booni, 4.3% of the samples were rejected. That's really, really high. So someone can visit the facility and just find out, oh my, there's one Kambu dispensary. They sent one sample and that one sample was rejected. So that's 100%. That's why the rejection has been high. But other than those two facilities, nothing to worry about. So just target those two facilities and find out why is it that their samples were rejected. So it's a very easy thing to use, help you zero in on a gap as a QA officer or a QA manager or a sub-county lead, and just try as much as possible to sort out the facility, and you know everything just will be okay. Coming back again, looked at it. You can also, even though this one you cannot download, this data here cannot be downloaded because it's a graph. But this one you can download, the one in CSV or in Excel. You can always download it and look at the data itself. Now, that is a view that everybody can actually look at. Now let's look at the labs. You come here. You can come here and look at lab performance. Just come here and click lab performance. So this one tells you the number of labs that are doing viral load, because you're not just interested in your county. You just want to know the national outlook. How many labs do we have that are doing viral load? I told you can always add this to 25 or even 100. And you can see here, we have 15 or 14 active. As you can see, the lab with the highest volume, as we are speaking now, is Migori County Referral with a number of 200. No, it's not been organized in that format because Cambridge has got bigger numbers here. KNH Lab, Ambat Lab, Kisumu CRH Lab, Coast PGH, the KU Teaching and Referral also do test. Cambridge CDC, this is in Kisumu. EDAP Lab, of course, and then Alupe. Then Cambridge Nairobi, we used to send samples here, but we are no longer sending samples there. NHRL Nairobi, Nyumbani Diagnostic Lab, doing quite a number, and then Busia. They just tell you the number of labs that are doing viral load within our setups. So this is just the number of labs. Then this one tells you the number of facilities sending samples to the lab. So like Migori, around 251 facilities, Cambry, Kericho, 474. That is in Rift Valley. They're actually getting a lot of facilities sending samples there. But unajua in Kericho or in Rift Valley, HIV prevalence is not that high. That's why you see they're able to do all that. You might even be wondering. KNH Nairobi doing around 262. Ampat Eldoret doing around 333 facilities. Kisumu 140, Coast PGH 213. For our case, we are at EDAP, you see 79 facilities. That is Makueni and Machakos. Of course, so these are the number of facilities that I've ever sent the samples to that given lab. So it just tells you, and this one also now, remote logging entry. Like EDAP, we have 58 facilities that are doing remote logging. Then remote site entry percentage. Like you see, we are doing at 73%, meaning the facilities that are not doing that. You see, like in Migori, almost 100% of them are doing remote login. 89%, 96, 93, 100% in Kisumu, 96, 100 in KUTRH, 100 in Cambridge, and with us, that's why we always have a lot of series of meetings to ensure people do remote logging. So the facilities that are here that have not been doing that, you see, we are not doing very well. Alupe, around 95%. Of course, Cambridge, Nairobi, here around 43%. We are not taking samples there. This is low. What do we call these facilities? This arid and semi-arid region, they wanapeleka the samples to Cambridge, Nairobi currently. So they are not doing remote logging as much. Of course, NHRL also has got a lot of challenges. 100%. Busia, really high numbers. So this tells you how we are doing when it comes to remote logging. So there's a lot of issues around remote logging, and our region needs to take that into notice to ensure at least we comply. So this is lab TAT. Lab TAT, you look at the end completely. The lab TAT just tells you what is the TAT for each and every testing lab. Lab TAT is from the time a sample is received to the time they're dispatching the results, not from collection. It's when now you have received your sample. How long does it take within you to analyze that sample and send it back? You see, like Migori, quite a long time. It takes them around 11 days. Of course, Kericho takes around 5 days. Of course, KNH takes around 12 days. Let's look at EDAP. I know we are interested in our region. Where is EDAP here? It was number what? EDAP was somewhere here, the 79. Yeah, number 9. As you can see, it takes them around 4 days. They are commodities, so it takes them around 4 days for them to process, as you are seeing in the TAT there. With 4 days for them to process and release. So they are one of the best in ensuring that some results are released. Of course, Coast PGH with around 3 days. So they don't take long. We are the ones who take quite a lot of time with our samples in the region before they are shipped to the testing lab. Of course, it also shows you control run for the facilities that are doing QA, QCs. You see control runs, EQA tests that have been done. Of course, this, I don't know, for the period. We have only selected a lean period. This is the period between, let me do to 2025. I think we selected September to now. Let me look at the whole setup of 2025. Yeah. So the whole setup of 2025, and this to 25 so that we look at the whole spectrum. So for EQAs, I know these are new labs. Migori, I don't know why Walter does not done EQA, but you see quite a number of them have done EQAs. Maybe they have not just been put in here, but that's just something to look at. This just breaks down what you are seeing up here, how long it takes before results get into the system. Like now here, it tells you, like in Busia, we said the orange is from when the samples are collected, when they are received in the lab, and when the sample are received and then they are processed. You see the way it's taking long, and then when the results are ready to when they are dispatched. See, like Busia, that is their TAT. And that TAT is what we are looking at in this end here, 11 days. So that 11 days is broken down hapa hivi. Where's Busia? Hiyo ni Migori. Wacha nitafute Busia. Busia iko na 8 days. Where's Busia here? Anybody seeing Busia? Yeah, something like that. So you see, broken down. Like EDAP, it takes around 8 days before the samples reach the testing lab, as you were seeing, but it takes them around 2 to 3 days before the process, and take them around 2 days for them to process, and then they get results. So their TAT is around 12 days. So this one just breaking down the TAT for each and every testing lab. So we don't want to go into a lot of details. Now, that is for the lab. Then we can actually go to the backlog. Backlog just tells you how many, it does not have the data. They have decided not to key in the data here. It's supposed to tell you how many samples are there they have that they have not processed. So that's just the backlog. Because I know for now, there's a lot of backlog because they have not been testing because they didn't have the commodities within their testing lab. So I hope they'll key in that data. Now, we are almost towards the end of this. Let me go back. Then we have the EID view. I'll not take you through the EID view for now. It's almost mirroring this, but it has got challenges. It does not process data as the VL. Then there's the login. You might be wondering, why the login? Login is now, if you want to get now facility level data, as you can see, that is my login credentials. If I want to get data within a given region, then you come here to facility login when you're doing remote login. If you are at a facility, say Makindu, you come here to facility login, and then you click, and then unaandika to Makindu, and then Makindu comes up, and then you have a batch number, you key in the batch number, and then now you log in. Let me pick up a call. I'm getting a call from someone from CDC, Rafael. Just a minute. Hello, Dr. Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm well. Yes, I've been well, and you? Yes. Work is okay. Facilitating a session for with Makueni. If I can call you in yes, sir. Machakos. Yes. Makueni, we gave 15,000 PPTs. Kitui, we also gave 15,000. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. And then Daktari. Oh, sorry about that. So you can see if we have the batch number for Makindu, we'll just key in that batch number there, and you get into the system. And now you as a facility can go into the facility level data and manipulate that data. But I don't think we need to go there because at least everybody have an idea on how to get into their facilities. Let me go back. So let me go back. Yes. So here we were. For the labs, we've discussed about the county facility performance, and we didn't want to go to the summary, separation, regimen, and age analysis. Those are things you can actually do by yourself. We've looked at, here we had selected the labs. Let me just come back to the county or even sub-county. When you click on the sub-county, you can come here and just, let's say, which sub-county? Let's say Mbooni. Just click on Mbooni. You just want to look at Mbooni in totality. And you see, this is what you get with Mbooni. It might not give you a lot, but it'll actually tell you the facilities in Mbooni that are sending samples. As you can see, in Mbooni, we have quite a number of, how many facilities do we have there? Mbooni, we have around 25, but how many are active that have ever sent? There are around 14 facilities. So there's a lot. You can actually mine this data to understand how things are going. If you want to analyze the data further, I've told you, go to export to CSV or export to Excel. And see if we can get facilities. Let me see if you can go to facilities. If you go to facilities, this one just shows you all facilities in the country. But let's say tuandike Mbooni district option. Yeah, you see there, Mbooni district option. It actually tells you like now outcomes 2024, 2025. In January, the number of samples that ever sent. May was their best month. As you can see, quite a number of results that they did churn out. You look at all that, the separation, equal IV, then you come down and look at some of this doesn't make sense. Justification for tests, you can see here what is the justification for the test, broken down, but the collated data make much more sense than facility level data, as I was telling you. Let's look at 2025 for Mboni. It's still the same. Oh, this one is giving you 2024. Let's see if we want to look at September 2025 to now November 2025. Let's look at what they have. No, this one you cannot filter. It actually just gives you a whole year's data as much as you want to filter it. But all the same, that's how you can access data at the NASCOP website. Very, very important that everybody understand. This one, you don't have to have any credentials. As I told you, you just go to EID VL system, and then you go to this website, and then you can be able to now access all the data you need. For the ones that have credentials, I know everybody is wondering, for the ones that have credentials, that's where you need facility level data, where you can even know the name of the clients that the sample was sent from, and all those nitty-gritties that needs to be done. But this is just data that anybody within any setup, important that we know how to consume this data within our facilities and within our sub-counties. So I think that's what I wanted to say for today. Next time, probably we'll try now to go to facility level and see how we can manipulate the data further so that at least everybody can now be conversant and comfortable with how to go through the EID and VL system. And next time, probably maybe even go to a testing lab, a specific testing lab, and see how we can get that data and manipulate, because there's so many ways of getting it. But starting with this gives you a head start of ensuring that you know what's happening in your county, what's happening in your facility, what's happening in your sub-county, and you can compare yourself with even other sub-counties, other counties, projections, looking at all sorts of things that, you know, this data is hosted in this website. Other than that, thank you so much, Diana and team, and so sorry for the technological, failures. Next time, I think I'll try to make sure I join a bit early so that at least we keep time. Back to you, and for any clarity or any questions.